Welcome back. I'm Mr. Monty, and this is our 2020 series. 20 lessons of 20 minutes a day for 20 days in preparation for the placement tests at the community colleges in Spokane. We're on tutorial number 7 of lesson number 9. Again, we're working on the factoring. Our last tutorial here is my favorite technique for factoring this expression into the product of two terms. We've been focusing on tic-tac-toe, which really seemed easier with big A values. But let's try it this way and see how we do. The first thing we always want to do is remember the basic standard form. ax squared plus bx plus c. We have our A and our C. First thing I do, connect these two. A times C. We get minus 140. Now, from this minus 140, I've got to find two numbers that add together to give me minus 31, while at the same time those two numbers multiply together to give us minus 140. Once we find those, let's bring this down. 14x squared and the minus 10. Once we find those two numbers, that's what goes in the middle here. So let's get started. I need to factor minus 140 until I find two numbers that multiply together to get minus 140, but I can add them to get minus 31. Okay. Since I don't have a calculator, I'm just going to start off with the number 1. 1. How many times does 1 go into minus 140? Minus 140. Now, these two numbers, if I took 1 minus 140, I don't get minus, I'm going to actually do that. 1 minus 140 gives me minus 139. I don't like that. No. 2. How many times does 2 go into minus 140? Minus 70. If I take the 2 minus 70, I get minus 68. No. 3. How many times does 3 go into minus 140? 3 goes into 14. 4 times, leaving 20. That's not a round number. So I can't even do that one. So I'm going to put a no. 4. 4 goes into minus 140. Let's see, that'll be 3, 5. Minus 35. Let's check that. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2, 12, 14. Minus 140. 4 minus 35 gives me a minus 31. Yes, I like that one. That's the one we were looking for. Most of our work is done now. 4 minus 35. 4 minus 35. 4 minus 35. I found the two terms that go in the middle. Let's put them in there. So I have a plus 4x minus a 35x. Yep. If I add those two, I get this. Okay, here's the tricky part of this technique. I'm going to rewrite this expression. 14x squared plus 4x, leave a little space, minus 35x minus 10. All I did was rewrite this without the red box and left a little space. Here's the tricky part. I'm going to put a little bracket around this and a little bracket around this. I want to find what I can pull out of there. What's common to both of these terms that I can pull out? Factor, kind of a reverse factoring, if you will. Let's see here. I got a 2 and a 7, an x and an x. And here I have a 2 and a 2 and an x. Yep, 2 times 2 is 4 with an x. 2 times 7 is 14, x and x. What's common to both? What's common to both? Well, I know I got a 2 and a 2 and an x and an x. Let's pull them out. 2x. I pulled out the 2x. What does that leave left? The 7 and the x. I have a plus sign. I pulled out the 2. I pulled out the x. What's left? Good. 2. So 2x times 7x is 14x squared. Yes. 2x times 2 is 4x. Good. Let's come over to this one here. This one is a little bit harder, but if we rewrite this, what are the factors on this one? We have a minus and a 5 and a 7 and an x. Good. How about this side? We have a minus, a 2, and a 5. Good. So what's common here? The minus is common. The 5 is common. Very nice. Let's pull them out. I can pull out the minus and the 5. And what's left? A 7x and a positive 2. Good. If we think back a couple of those tutorials, we remember that if we get a final answer, when we get to this point, if this matches this, if these two quantities match each other, we know we did it correctly. If they don't match, we made a mistake. So 7x plus 2 is common to both. Let's pull that out. 7x plus 2. Now what's left? If I pull that out and I pull this out, what's left? The 2x minus the 5. If we think back to tutorial number 6, that's the answer we got. So, to me, this is simpler because it's more of a top-down flow, step by step. We have to work off to the side here with our factor tree, but I still like the flow, top-down. Let's check our answer before we conclude this to make sure that we didn't make a mistake. 7x times 2x, 14x squared. 7x times a minus 5 is minus 35x. 2 times 2x gives us a 4x. 2 times minus 5 gives us minus 10. We have like terms right here. So our final answer, 14x squared minus 31x minus 10. This expression matches this expression, so our factored form is 7x plus 2, the quantity, times the quantity of 2x minus 5. A lot of math, a lot of thinking, we got some flow, but factoring can be done with different techniques. This is a skill you must have in order to be successful in math. Hopefully these will help you. So, to wrap up lesson or tutorial number 7, I can factor the expression. We did that using my favorite technique, which is just a top-down flow. We're going to move on. So when you come back to lesson 10, we're going to assume that you're good at these skills of factoring. See you then.